You won't believe what Terrence Howard just revealed.
And then they finally like, I'm gonna put it into music. I'll do it in the music. I'm gonna, get myself together. And they go and see someone and they tell them, okay, yeah, you got a deal. Perform fellatio on me and you get your deal. That was what I heard while I was on Empire about some of the people in the business. When you give up those things, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing.
And why he's standing with Usher in one of the most disturbing cases in music history. What started as a legal firestorm around Sean Diddy Combs and his ex-girlfriend Cassie is now exploding into a full-blown industry reckoning. And when one of Hollywood's most respected actors steps into the chaos with his own claims, you know something serious is going down. Diddy ruled the music world for decades. His name was synonymous with success, luxury, and power. He was the mastermind behind Bad Boy Records, launching stars like the notorious B.I.G., Usher, and many others. But behind the fame, rumors about his infamous flavor camps, secret parties, and questionable behavior had always swirled. It wasn't until Usher's recent court breakdown that the public got a horrifying glimpse into what was allegedly happening behind closed doors. And now, as the lawsuits mount and headlines explode, the image of Diddy as a musical kingmaker is rapidly falling apart.
So funny, my friend said to me, rappers, they're all so tough until you hear their real name.
Yeah, or until you see them at a puffy party.
Oh.
Then they're not tough no more. I'm surprised that the rap game is still alive because the masculinity that the rappers are supposed to portray.
What is it with all the man-on-man action that I'm learning about? I mean, like with the puffy parties, like the last thing I ever thought that went on there was gay stuff. Not that gay stuff was wrong, it's wonderful. I just did not think that's what Puffy was doing.
Yeah, well, I didn't think it either. And even when my assistant said that stuff, I still was like joking it off. And it wasn't until later on that I heard other things from people that worked from him.
Usher's testimony was nothing short of devastating. At just 14 years old, he was sent to live with Diddy in New York under the guise of mentorship. What he described wasn't mentorship, it was manipulation. He spoke of waking up in the middle of the night to masked figures, dim lights, and strange parties filled with people twice his age. The parties weren't about networking or music, they were about submission. And most chilling of all, Usher revealed he was forced to sign an NDA at just 16, silencing him for decades. His voice cracked in court as he admitted the trauma haunted him well into adulthood. But just when people thought things couldn't get darker, Terrence Howard entered the conversation. In a shocking interview, Terrence Howard backed Usher and revealed his own twisted history with Diddy.
Did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the consequences when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking.
According to Howard, he too was lured into Diddy's world with the promise of business opportunities. But what he experienced was far from professional. Howard said Diddy repeatedly invited him to private sessions, which quickly turned personal. In one now viral podcast, Terrence claimed Diddy stared at him for an uncomfortable amount of time, said nothing, and made him feel like the meeting had another agenda entirely. The actor didn't hold back. He said flat out, "I think he was trying to me." Terrence's words weren't vague. They were raw, direct, and full of decades of bottled-up discomfort. What makes Howard's claims so disturbing is how closely they mirror what Usher described. An invitation, a private space, a sudden shift in tone. It's not a stretch to see the pattern. Terrence said after one particularly bizarre encounter, he cut all ties with Diddy and warned others to do the same. He described Diddy's control as manipulative, subtle, and laced with intimidation. And while many in Hollywood kept quiet, Terrence Howard finally said what others wouldn't. This wasn't just one man's paranoia, it was real. Terrence's support for Usher has sent shockwaves through the industry, not just because he's a respected actor, but because he's one of the first major male celebrities to publicly co-sign a story so dark, so controversial, and so career-threatening. In an industry built on silence, loyalty, and power dynamics, stepping forward like this is rare. Terrence said he couldn't stay quiet anymore. Not after hearing what Usher went through, not when the patterns were so painfully familiar, and not when he saw young stars falling into the same traps they both barely escaped from. This whole story is now bigger than what we initially thought. It's about how the entertainment industry hides its worst secrets behind platinum plaques and red carpets. It's about how rising stars, especially young men, are lured in with promises of fame only to be manipulated, silenced, and discarded when they no longer play along. For the first time, fans are hearing from the people who lived it, and they're not pulling punches. And here's where it gets even more intense. Terrence hinted he's not the only one. In his interview, he claims several other male artists have reached out privately. One in particular, he says, is preparing to come forward with a story that will blow everything wide open. This may be just the beginning. If more voices join Usher and Terrence, the entire structure that protected Diddy for so long could come crashing down. And for an industry long defined by power and silence, that's terrifying. So, where does this leave us? Usher's emotional courtroom moment opened the floodgates, but Terrence Howard's support may be the match that ignites a larger fire. This isn't just a scandal, it's a turning point. It's a reminder that no amount of fame can protect the truth forever. The stories are coming out, the walls are crumbling, and people are finally paying attention. Terrence said it best, "I survived, but not everyone did, and now it's time to talk about it." Who's next?